Hey everybody, what's up? This is Garrett from GS Lighting Solutions. So today I'm going to do a live stream kind of giving you a basic understanding of how to do some basic, simple maintenance on any kind of moving fixture that you might have. So right here I have an SGM Giotto 400 wash or wash 400. Um, this is a fantastic light. The kind of cool story about this light, when I was actually learning how to do lighting way back 13, 14, however long ago, this was one of the original lights that I used. It still works. It still is a beast of a light. And I'm really kind of excited to be able to show you how to do some simple maintenance on it. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the things you want to make sure um, when you're doing any kind of light, um, don't use any kind of liquids. Liquids and electronics don't mix. All right. So what you really need to do is make sure you have like cloths and things that you can wipe down surfaces. And any kind of, if you have to lubricate something, make sure it's like a very dry lube. Um, like a kind of a hobby type of a lubricant, not anything that's liquidy, because that can burn and that can, as heat comes, can cause issues with your fixture. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and show you kind of how this light works itself, and then we'll kind of get inside the internals. The other thing you want to make sure you do when you're doing some of your maintenance, don't have power plugged in. Not until you're ready to make sure everything's working and go through the test stuff. Because of the fact that when you open this up, you're exposing yourself to live wires and circuits and stuff. I don't want anybody getting hurt. All right. So the biggest thing is make sure there's no power plugged in. And right now I'm touching the power where you plug in the power, and there's no power. Um, so that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right. So what I'm going to do is start out with kind of some of the things that you might need. Um, so what I make sure you have handy is, depending on your light, because different lights have different needs. So find the tools that work for you and for your fixture, because I know every fixture is different. As you can tell, like the sides here have like a different kind of bolt than removing this cover. This has a Phillips head, and this has like a hex screw or a Allen wrench type screw. So, anyways, make sure you have the proper equipment before you get in and start moving equipment around. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I think I'm going to do is we'll save kind of the outer dust and stuff for last. Get into the internals, kind of show you how to kind of clean off a few of the lenses and other things like that. So let's go ahead and get moving. So for this light, okay. Might see if I can find them different. And make sure you have the right size of these. Mainly because if you don't have the right size, you're probably not going to get it undone. So hold on one second. Let me see if I can find another Allen wrench that will work for this. Let's see. See if one of these works. So this is an Italian made light. So it might be that I'm trying to use standard with a all right. Hold on 1 second while I try and find something that works. All right, I'm back. Found a. Sorry about that. Had to go through my tool bin real quick to see if I could find the right size tool. Make sure you always have tools that work properly and that are the right size. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is loosen up these these bolts on the side, and then we can pull off the cover. The other thing you want to make sure you do whenever you do any kind of maintenance, pull up the user manual. I have my user manual pulled up right here on my iPad so that I can reference it if I need to for any portion of this. Especially if you're not too familiar with some of the lights, and make sure you actually go through and understand kind of what you're doing. You don't want to be taking things apart or anything like that and causing more issues. Alright, so now that is, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Let's see here. Alright. See if I can. See if I can get this taken off real quick. Let's see. I think I have the right tool for this. And like I said, every light is different, so kind of the tips that I'll be showing you here are not necessarily the tips that will work best for your light, but there are some universal things that you can do that will kind of help you as you figure out how to keep the maintenance up on your lights. See if I can get this. So as you can see right now, there's a lot of dust in here. So trying to be careful not to make too much of a mess. Get this. Thank you guys for being patient as I try and get there we go. Found the right one. So hopefully this will be a help for you guys to remember. Make sure you have all the right tools that you need before you take on a project like this, because you really don't want to have issues. Alright, I'm going to set that down. Alright, so this is the internals of the wash light. This is basically your external lens, kind of like a Fresnel lens. And then in here, you can kind of see some filters and some other electronics. There's not much in the form of, like, there's no gobos. There's a few different color mixing wheels. This is cayenne, magenta, and yellow, so CMY. And then there's the lamp. So what we're going to do is, first I guess we'll go ahead and start out with cleaning off this lens. And really and truly, you don't really need a whole lot. You can just kind of clean it off just with a, you can use a microfiber cloth, or, you know, these are built pretty sturdy. So it's not like you need something that will, you know, prevent rust, like a microfiber or anything like that. So let's go ahead and go in here. Let's clean out that. Let's clean out some of the dust. Alright. That looks better. Alright, so now you notice there are some dust down here. So I'm just going to, most of what you can do with these kind of lights is you can just kind of dust it off, because of the fact that it's just, you know, dust has accumulated over a long period of time. Okay, now those are done. That looks pretty good. So the other thing you can do is you can kind of clean off the inside of these fans. As you can see right here, there's dust that's collected on the fans. But the one thing you want to make sure when you're cleaning fans like this is that you actually, you can use air, but you want to make sure that you hold the fan in place. The reason being is these run off of an electrical current. That being said, when you spin it, it does create electricity as well. So it can use electricity to spin it, but when you're spinning it yourself, or something like air, like this, is spinning it, it actually can create a small electrical current, which could go and could damage some of the electronics. And that's one of the things you really don't want to happen. So let's go ahead and you can probably use, what I'm going to use is this. I'm just going to use a small screwdriver and just kind of stick it in there and hold it, so that when you go and blow it, see, I'm not getting, alright, spin just slightly. If you do it just a little bit, it's not a big deal, but it's, you know, it's like a turbine on like a power generator, or like a hydroelectric plant. These things spin around really, really fast. So I'm just basically making sure that there's, alright, That's a whole lot better. So there might be just a little bit left, but it's a whole lot better than what it was. Alright. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go around to the other side and clean this one up as well. Alright, get in there. Oops. Make sure that doesn't fall off. Alright, so now this top part is a little better, quite a bit better than it was. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and open this portion up by using these right here. So like I said, all different, different lights have different types of features, and this one is no different. So if you're running a Mac, it probably runs different. I really like how this fixture works. You just have these, everything's kind of modular, so you can just unscrew these and then get to kind of the next layer in the fixture. Alright, now that those are off, you can actually slowly lift it up. Drop this down and put something underneath it so that I don't damage anything. Alright, move this around so you can kind of see it. So this has all the different wheels that are involved. Everything from shutters to this will be like the dimmer wheel. Everything that makes this light is right here. And then as you can see right back here, this is where the light bulb is. The big thing you want to make sure about the light bulb, don't touch it with your fingers, straight fingers. I suggest using gloves or using something else, like a cloth or something like that. You don't want to get your finger oils on that. That will ruin the bulb and possibly cause damage to your light. So it's very important that you not deal with that. Okay, so now that all of that is done, you can still see there's a lot of dust and stuff like that. So I don't see any real fans right there. So I'm gonna just hit this with air. Just kind of clean up. See, I'm not seeing any fans other than push fans. Let this air kind of cool down a bit. Kind of a little cold. Alright, so I dusted off most of the kind of the loose dust. There's a few bits of dust that kind of stuck on there down here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of wipe those down. Alright. Up here. I'm going to just kind of clean up as much as I can with just the basics, with a cloth, to get it as kind of clean as I can. Alright. Alright, let's see here. Alright, I think I'm going to call that good. I'm going to try and kind of clean off some of these filters. These are dichroic glass that are resistant to high heat. You want to kind of be just as careful with these as you are with the lens, because of the amount of heat that those lenses provide, that the bulbs put off. Any kind of fingerprints, you know, around here could cause some damage. So, without really taking it apart, I really don't want to try and dismantle this right now. I'm just trying to go through, like, you know, what can you do without kind of within the kind of basic maintenance. Go into a light and kind of just clean it up to kind of prolong the life of your light. Because, you know, if you just leave the light and just let it sit, you know, you might get a couple years out of it, but then there could be an issue and it'll break down. So that's kind of, you know, the least that you want to happen. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and close this back up. Be very careful to make sure everything lines up the way it's supposed to, so you don't really have much issues. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these down. And you want to make sure everything is nice and snug, because the fact that they are precision equipment, you don't want anything kind of loose and wobbling around, and these things are known for doing that. So I noticed that while I was kind of looking in here, without going in and taking a lot of the stuff apart, that there's a lot of dust in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these fans so that they don't spin, and I'm going to hit everything with the air. Cool down just a bit. So if you guys have any questions while this is going on, feel free to leave a comment. It is appreciated if you have a question while I'm doing this live. You know, I'm more than happy to answer any kind of questions you might have. All right, so I'm going to go over here and spray some of this out of here. All right. One of the things I wanted to, you know, just clarify, don't use any kind of liquids. The lenses are fine using something dry just to kind of clean it off, as are most of the optics. So if you can get into little places and, you know, clean it off, you know, that kind of stuff, then fantastic. But you know, this is just basic. You know, if you have any kind of service issues that you might have, you know, go take it into someone who is certified in, you know, fixing these, certified techs that can fix these lights. Alright, so I'll kind of go ahead and wipe down other spots. I got most of it cleaned off on the inside, so it's not perfect, but it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. So I'm just going to continue to kind of clean this up just a tad. Alright. Now, as you can tell, let's see if I can get it. There is another lens that's right here. I'm going to try and use this as well just to kind of clean off that part. It's kind of hard to get to it on the other side just because all the other filters and other things that go into this light are right on the other side. So I'd have to kind of like come and take that all apart. Do that. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. Let's find a little screw there. Yep, the biggest thing you want to make sure is that you also put it, well, a major thing is make sure you don't lose your parts while you're doing maintenance on these lights, and also make sure that you put it together the way you found it. I know some manufacturers, they make their lights very difficult to get into. If that's the case, then don't worry about it. Do what you can to keep it clean from the outside. Without, you know, the biggest thing is keeping your optics clean, especially if it's a, you know, spot or wash that has a lot of internal moving parts. If you have let's get this locked in there. Okay, come on. If you have like a newer LED light that, you know, just looks like a par can on a moving light base, then I would say just clean off the lenses. Don't worry much about the internals. But a light like this, you know, this light itself retails new for about $6,000. So granted, there are newer technologies since the light has been around for a while, but it is still a very powerful and relevant light. I really enjoy it. So I will be doing a review of this light soon. So if you're interested in more information about this kind of light that I'm using right now, make sure that you go and keep track of, and just keep tuning in to see for new content that's coming. I'll go ahead and now I got that safety cable back on. Go ahead and put that back on, and then I'm going to tighten these back up. So I'm going to pull off the back one next, so we can kind of see that one. There's not a whole lot to do on the back side, just because that's kind of the back end of where like the light bulb is. So it's a lot of heat sink and other stuff. But we can at least get in there and fix it up. Hey there. So if you don't know, my wife just got on and is watching me from the other room. So, hey babe, I hope your swim was nice. Alright, back to what I am doing. Okay. Pull this back one off. Alright. This one has the same kind of a safety cable, but I think I'm going to be just doing some minimal stuff back here. Yeah, hardly anything. So I just wanted to check back here. As you can see, it's mostly enclosed. These are all like heat sinks to kind of just control the amount of heat that the 400, 500 watt light bulb puts off while it's on. So, yep. So I'm gonna just kind of hit it with some air, just kind of get some of the loose dust off of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this little bit off. There we go. So this is basically the back end of the light. The light bulb and all the electronics and stuff are back there. One of the things I wanted to remind you is if you're changing the light bulb, and especially just a discharge lamp bulb light like this, make sure you check the connections with the light bulb. If the light went out, most likely is the light bulb went out, but you want to make sure that your that there's no problems with where the socket, the light socket. That's what I'm trying to find. You want to make sure all of that it looks good and clean. There's not really a lot you can do to clean it up. If you see some damage in there, you definitely want to talk to a tech or somebody that can help you kind of clean that up. Alright, so now I'm just going to give the outside a once over. I'll open up one of these panels on the side so you can see kind of what's in there. But most of the stuff that's in the side will be like your pan and your tilt, and some more of the electronics. And you really don't want to get too much into messing with that, because if you mess with electronics, especially if you don't know what they do, you can kind of do damage or stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you only touch things that are easy access, or like going to you can put right back together. Alright, almost done. So, and this particular light is really nice because you can actually, it's really easy access to all the different items. I have a bolt right here that I can pull this panel off, and I can get into this area down here. Some lights don't have that option. You need like a tech to get down there. These lights are very modular. If I had an issue, I could talk to the tech, figure out what item I need to send in, and I can just take off that piece and send it in. So that's kind of a cool feature. A lot of the higher end lights have very modular designs that allow you to be able to do that with your light. Alright. Alright, I'm going to sit down for this one. Okay. So as you can see, this has a bunch of Phillips head screws on here. And then this plate pops off. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and unscrew those, and then show you kind of what's inside the sides. And in here you want to make sure if you see a belt, make sure it's not loose. Kind of do a quick tension test and just see if the light itself is if the belt is fine. If it's not fine, that's something you need to have a tech look at. You don't want to be messing with tension belts or anything like that. If it looks like it's really loose and it has issues, then bring it up to the attention of someone who's certified to use it, to work on it and fix it. Alright. Sorry, this gives it a little better look at it. Right, there we go. Alright, almost there. Let's see if I can pull it off now. Almost. Alright, getting there. Almost ready. So this is also another area you want to make sure that you have all the parts that you take off, make sure that you have them accounted for and be able to put them back on. Okay. Oh gosh. Those are nice and long. So I'm going to pull this over here so you can see it. As you can tell, this is not the side that has the belt in it. It does have some electronics and sensors in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of air, clean off some of the dust so that it's clean. Looks like it might be kind of where the power goes in to the light. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put this side back on, and then we'll switch over to the other side, and I'll show you that side. So I definitely was really privileged to be able to learn how to do production stage lighting with this fixture here. There was a total of 12 lights, 12 moving lights, along with a controller and you know, kind of the standard Source 4s and Parnells and Fresnels and Lecos and everything else. So, but I was able to learn how to do concerts and plays and productions, conferences and other things like that with these lights. Definitely was, you know, a lot of churches couldn't even, you know, their lighting budget is you know, an eighth of what this light costs brand new. So I definitely was very happy to be able to learn off of such a nice light. And what's amazing to me is that it's still working. I mean, it's not sitting on its last leg. It's still, you know, works just fine. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get this other side off now, and I'll put that one on. Let's see. Pull this off. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab an electric screwdriver and do this. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Like I said, make sure you have all the tools you need. Alright, this should speed up things quite a bit. There we go. Okay, go ahead and pull this side off. There it is. Yep. Spin it around so you can see it. Alright, so that is the belt. And go ahead and go through. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Belt looks like in good condition. Electronics, this is a sensor that kind of help it find, I believe, right there's the little kind of diode or a little sensor, and when it comes in down here in contact, it knows that it senses that that's where it's at, and that kind of considers it where it's like home. So this is, you know, what I'm doing is basically just kind of showing you what's in here, and then we'll just kind of like clean it up a bit. All right. So the belt looks like in really good condition. I'm not really seeing any tears or any issues. So I'm just going to kind of air off that. maybe wipe down some of it just a bit. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and put all of these back together. Alright, so as you can tell, have the bits right there that are all back together. And now I'm going to go ahead and clean some of this stuff off a bit. Alright, so lastly I'm going to show you, let's see if I have a Phillips that works. Okay, so smaller one. I'll show you kind of the inside of the bottom. That's where the main computing power is at. That is where kind of a lot of the main power, the fuses and everything else are as well. All right. Remember, it's been a while since I have pulled that off. Let's see. Pull the manual, see if I can figure out where. Okay. Loosen up the other one. So the other thing with this light is you can also get into this area right here. It has more electronics as well. But I'm not gonna worry about it in this video right here. Alright. There's Landon. Yep, okay, come on. There it is. At first, if you don't succeed, try and find where the other screws are. Come on. Alright, got it all loosened up. Now, let's figure out. Alright. figure out. All right. There seems to be. Let's see. All right. Well, guess I am going to kind of just leave it right here. I'll have to kind of play around with it and figure out how to get this portion open. It might not be that big of a deal. I kind of want to get it open so that I can see if there's any dust or anything that I can kind of clean up myself. So anyways, I am basically just going to go ahead and finish up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, thank you. That's amazing. Hopefully this is somewhat of an interesting video. I know I was slightly unprepared for some of it. I needed to make sure I had all my tools ready before I started. But that can be a good lesson for you guys to make sure that you have everything you need. You know what you need. You have all your resources available when you get into a light or into any kind of fixture, because you don't want to just get into it and then realize you need to go and do a whole lot of work on it, or you need a whole bunch of tools that you don't have. So make sure you have everything you need before you do. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I suggest that you, if you liked my content, if you like stage lighting, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I am in the middle of doing a giveaway for a whole bunch of really cool product called by a company named Seapoint. And so I'm doing a giveaway on a bunch of their product, everything from an RJ45 to Cat 5 to a 3 Universe Cat 5 device. And it's a whole bunch of really cool stuff, and I really like it. So go ahead and make sure to go check that out. And anyways, I will see you guys in another video. I'm going to try and do more of these live streams now that I have a little bit better of equipment. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see on a live stream from me, leave it in the comments and let me know. Anyways, I will see you guys later.